I just finished putting together the Lansing Journal's weekly video, and I thought maybe I should add a message especially for our YouTube audience, which is really almost a completely separate audience from the people who follow the Lansing Journal locally and subscribe to our daily news email and get news from our website. I know a lot of our YouTube audience found us through the videos we've posted about Tiffany Henyard and Thornton Township, and that's great. We appreciate your interest in the craziness that's going on here right now. We appreciate your engagement and your encouragement. Thank you for all of that. But I feel compelled to say that Tiffany Henyard does not define this community. She commands attention, and I understand the interest, but it does bother me sometimes when she steals attention away from so many other worthy but less dramatic things going on here. This video is not about Tiffany Henyard, but I would love it if you would watch it anyway. It's about an event we have coming up in Lansing that we are very proud of, and that is much more representative of life here in our community. The event is called Mexico en el Corazon, Mexico in the Heart. It takes place at Fox Pointe, a venue in the heart of our community that we're very proud of. And if you are in the region, we would love for you to join us there on Friday, August 30 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you for watching.
Hello everyone, I am Melanie Jongsma, publisher of the Lansing Journal, Lansing's only newspaper. The Lansing Journal works hard to keep our diverse community informed and connected, and this week I want to let you know about a special event that's coming to Lansing on Friday, August 30. Mexico en el Corazon is returning to Lansing and returning to Fox Pointe, and they have been coming to Lansing since 2017, so I thought in preparation for this year's event, it might be interesting to look back and see, first of all, why they chose Lansing and how the event has grown over the years. The show's experience in Lansing sort of parallels the Lansing Journal's experience in Lansing. Mexico en el Corazon first came to Lansing in August of 2017. The Lansing Journal had just begun publishing in July of 2017 online. Our first print issue didn't come out until September 2017, and we've been covering them ever since. So it's been fun to have been there at the beginning and to have covered this show year after year throughout their history here. So let's start with 2017. In 2017, I am not even sure how I found out about Mexico en el Corazon. The first place they held the show was in the auditorium at Memorial Junior High. So it's possible that one of the teachers there or one of the office workers there let me know. And I showed up to cover the event. Didn't know much about it. I didn't know what to expect. When I arrived, I believe it was held on a Saturday afternoon, and the auditorium was packed. There were about 700 people who managed to fit into the auditorium, and you could see that it was a highly anticipated event. I learned at that time that the organizer of the show was a group with the initials NAIMA, and that stands for North American Institute for Mexican Advancement. And I learned that this was sort of a cultural exchange program. They were organizing performances by this dance troupe throughout the United States as a way to celebrate Mexican culture in the United States, but also share it with non-Mexicans throughout the United States. So Lansing was included in the tour because of the vibrant Mexican population that lives here in Lansing. One of the things I learned during that first year is that the show is a celebration of the variety of cultures within Mexico. Mexico is made up of, I believe, 31 states, and each of those states, just like in the United States of America, has a different personality, different customs, different culture, and the show is made up of dances and songs and costumes native to those different states. So it's a celebration of all of Mexico, and the dances reflect that. The show lasted about 2 hours, and it was so colorful and vibrant and just fascinating to watch. I don't know how many pictures I took, hundreds probably, because all of the costumes were so bright and the dances were so interesting and intricate, and the audience was so responsive. You could see how much this meant to people. At the end of the show, the performers received a standing ovation, and there was just a lot of emotion in the room at that time. So that was 2017. In 2018, the performance returned to Lansing, this time at TF South. They had outgrown the auditorium at Memorial, so TF South was able to host, and Josh Bootsma was freelancing for us at that time, so he took on the story and had a similar experience to what I had had the previous year. He wrote about the new venue and explained, last year, Memorial Junior High hosted 700 guests who viewed the show in the school's gym on bleachers and folding chairs. This year, the 800 viewers were treated to comfortable chairs, a bigger stage, and better lighting in TF South's auditorium. Josh is also the reporter who found the real Lansing connection to this show, Lansing resident Marta Vargas. She and her husband Miguel have lived here for many years. Their kids go to Lansing schools. And she is one of the directors of the Federation of Jalisco in the Midwest, so she made the connection to this troupe. The show did return to Lansing in 2019, and it did return to TF South. I was the reporter that year, and I reported that nearly 1,000 people attended the show, cramming into the TF South auditorium. You know, I learn something new every year that I cover this story, and 2019 was the year that I learned Marta Vargas's husband, Miguel Gutierrez, provides tech support for the show. And that makes total sense because Miguel Gutierrez is the tech support guy for District 215. This is his job. So it was great to learn that. So the 2019 article includes a photo of Marta and Miguel and their daughter Emily. The timing of the 2019 show also allowed us to include it in our September 2019 print edition, and this photo actually won an award. Third place award for original editorial photography in a news article. So that's kind of nice. 2019 is also the year I shared Mexico and El Corazon on my Facebook page as one of my top positives. That's a tradition that I have every day. I wrote, I think much of my fascination with a show like Mexico and El Corazon is just knowing that there are places in the world where dance is such an important part of the culture. My own heritage is Dutch, and we have a lot of fine qualities, but dancing is not one of them. Our only traditional dance is klumpendansen, which literally means to clomp around in wooden shoes. So to watch the performance by the Ballet Folklorico at TF South this afternoon was just amazing. And all of the dancers just seemed like they were bouncing around effortlessly, like this is a perfectly natural way to express themselves. Lansing is really fortunate to have such a rich Hispanic presence and to have local connections who bring this show to us as part of the international tour. The next year, of course, was 2020, and it was March when the world shut down and stayed shut down for much longer than anyone first thought. So the live tour in 2020 was canceled, and Mexico and El Corazon did publish a virtual version of the show. They posted that online, and the Lansing Journal published it as well. In 2021, things were still uncertain, so the live tour, the international tour, was canceled again, so there was no show in 2021. The live tour was back in 2022, and the show returned to Lansing. It returned to TF South. This year, reporter Jennifer Yos covered the event. I was there as well, but Jennifer did the work of reporting on it. And she and I talked after the show, and she wondered what new she could say about this show that we had been reporting on for several years by this time. She just wasn't sure what angle to take, what new information she could provide. So what she ended up doing is writing more of a personal reflection on her experience at the show, just things she observed, especially in the audience as she watched people reacting to the different songs and singing along with the performers. So her article is more of a just a personal reflection on how meaningful Mexico and El Corazon is, especially to Mexicans who come to see it. So that brings us to 2023, last year, and the event was hosted at Fox Pointe, which really was the next logical progression. We've seen the growth of the event over the years, from 700 people at Memorial Junior High to 800 and 1,000 people at TF South Auditorium, and really the only thing limiting the growth of the audience was the confines of those physical spaces. So Fox Pointe was the next logical step. Of course, there are logistics involved in bringing an event like that to an outdoor venue. It's about 50 people who are involved in the production, dancers and singers and a lot of different instruments and costume changes. So all of that has to be figured out, and there needs to be a backup plan in case of weather. So a lot went into last year's production of Mexico and El Corazon at Fox Pointe. Things did work out. The weather was great on September 2. It was a Saturday, and as I recall, it was quite hot, but it was sunny, and about 2,000 people came to the event that year. That is the largest crowd that has ever attended any event at Fox Pointe. So it was good for Lansing to receive so many people from out of town. It was good for out-of-towners to see the kind of venue that Fox Pointe is and to be introduced to Lansing. And again, it was a great event, colorful, vibrant, and just a lot of good fellowship throughout the afternoon. This year, we are hoping for the same experience. Mexico and El Corazon will return to Fox Pointe Friday. This time it's an evening show, starting at 6:30. Gates open at 5:30. I am hoping that next week's video will be actual footage from the Friday night show. I am not sure that I will be able to shoot video and then do the editing that's needed in order to have it published in time for it to be included in Saturday morning's email. I'm going to give it a try, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, all of this background is just to give you some context about the show that is coming to Fox Pointe on Friday night. I want to personally invite all of our viewers and readers to be there, especially if you have never seen it before. It is a wonderful event. It's a beautiful event. It's a good experience. It's just fun to see the variety of dancing, the variety of music. It's educational, it's inspirational, it's something Lansing can be proud of. So I hope to see you there. I will be there again this year. If you see me, please say hi. And thank you, as always, for watching these videos, for reading the Lansing Journal every day. We appreciate your support, your readership, your viewership. It means a lot to us. And looking forward to seeing you at Fox Pointe next Friday night.